A warm welcome to all our CCR TV viewers. We know that from May 3rd, 2023, we had a very big major problem in Manipur. Over 60,000 displaced from their homes and placed, most of them, in 350 camps. There are, as of now, 40,000 security forces that have been deployed and to maintain peace now. Locals are striving to put together a life in relief camps set up in various areas. We had one of our outstanding NGOs from Goa, the Street Providence, a big-hearted NGO from Goa, and I should say the standout NGO working for underprivileged under the dynamic leadership of Donald Fernandez, who has ventured to send a team along with a lot of relief material. The Street Providence was started way back somewhere in 2013 by Donald, and it grew today as a registered charitable trust, and we have one of the trustees today, Caroline Colasso. Caroline, you had been to Manipur, you have been to the relief camps,
yes.
And now you had gone to another state where there are also other relief camps.
Yes.
What is your view on these relief camps?
So the situation in the relief camps, of course we knew that the situation is bad, but till you actually see it, the stories that we heard from there, the conditions specifically of the women and children was really painful to see, because they have nothing to look forward to. They don't know how long they'll be in those camps. They have left with only the clothes that they were wearing. Their homes are burnt. So it was a kind of a hopelessness that most of them carried, a lot of pain in their hearts because of the unknown, unforeseen future.
You met a lot of women, and I think they have been the most grieved persons.
Yes, the women and children are always the most vulnerable, in my opinion. Because there were so many of them who had just had small babies. There were women who are pregnant. There were children who should have been in school. And, for women and children, I think, some lactating mothers, children who need weaning foods, babies. There was some stories that were really heart-rending. One woman who told us that on the way while she was running, she was obviously in her 9th month, she had to give birth, this time that we heard the story, in the jungles, literally. So these tiny babies, and with the stress, often they cannot even have their own breast milk. So they are the most vulnerable, because
but
nutritious
the plight continues.
Yes, of course it continues. Not only in Manipur, we were really surprised and happy actually to be able to see firsthand so many relief camps in Mizoram.
Mizoram.
Because that's the bordering state, and that's a state that was most welcoming to the Manipuri displaced people. They gave them a warm welcome there. They are trying their best to put them in government places which were unoccupied, and they have a very good organization called the Young Mizo Association, YMA. They're very, very active in trying to rehabilitate the Manipuris in whatever places available to the best of their abilities.
Was it very difficult for them to cross from their place?
Of course it was difficult, because some of them have come via Assam. So it was so many kilometers. They had to put money together. They told us that the people were, they were also getting fleeced, in the sense that shortage of vehicles, everyone fleeing. So there was obviously people who were overcharging. We had this story of this people from an orphanage, a couple who are managing an orphanage of 28 children. Just for that distance from Manipur to run to safety in Mizoram, they paid 1 lakh rupees. For
1 lakh
rupees for the vehicles. They had to bundle them.
How many kilometers more or less you think it would be?
It would be about 250, right, kilometers, about from Churachandpur to across the border, 250,
okay.
300, yeah.
Okay. So, no compulsions about the payment?
No, they had to put everything together to just flee for the safety, because they had just 2 Meitei children. and they were afraid for their safety, because she said burnings were taking all over, riots were all over, and just because of these 2 kids, my other 25 kids might be in danger. So they took the decision to flee to the safety of Mizoram, which of course has presently housed them in some tourist complex, which was one part which was vacant.
The Street Providence has been doing yeoman's service. This week itself, they have sent the 4th relief truck with lot of material. It was flagged off by the former IPS officer from Goa, the former DIG, Bosco George. You had been already to these relief camps, and now you have sent another truck, and I think more will follow.
Yes, because see, it is the relief camps are numerous, and what we are trying to do is trying to send this thing to as many relief camps as possible.
Now you talk about 350 relief camps.
Yeah.
Some of these are in the colleges and schools, and then some of them in the open spaces with tents and things like that.
Yes.
So, who is actually monitoring these camps?
See, there are 2 parts in it. One is the majority of the relief camps is run by the government. Okay. And there are some unofficial relief camp by different organizations. But we are not, we don't go directly with the relief camp. We coordinate it with the Archdiocese of Imphal, because they have access to all these relief camps. So they make a sort of a study as to which relief camp requires what thing. So as of now, to the best of the food grains are, they are receiving sufficiently even from the government, from other organizations. What they now require is, like a baby food, lactogen, Cerelac. These things are there. So the church has been telling us if this can be organized, then afterwards
so the assessment of the needs is being done at some level.
Yes. It's generally being monitored by the Archdiocese of Imphal over there, because they said even biscuits and all these things are required. Women's innerwear, because naturally, how will we know until unless we get some feedback over there? And over there, the priests, some of the nuns, they go visiting. And when they bring back the feedback that these are the requirements of the people. So accordingly, we have been trying to organize this.
Was it easy for you to move around from one place, especially from Imphal, which is the capital, to move into these hilly areas?
No, it's difficult. It's not easy at all. Especially when last time when we all went over there, from Imphal to go to Churachandpur, it's next to impossible. You just cannot go.
But you all managed.
Yeah. No, we couldn't go to Churachandpur, but because it is more, that's what they went through Mizoram, it is accessible. Because what happens is the minute you try to go over there, people have become so suspicious about your movement. They think that you are trying to help them, because there are 2 sides of different different communities. So the ones that are here, they don't want that the relief should reach the other places. But there was this thing, helicopter service. So of course I used my official contacts, and we did try, but unfortunately that was a Friday, and the helicopter goes only on Fridays. But it is only during the daytime, so it was already late in the evening.
But is it safe even traveling by helicopter?
Yeah,
because they say that there are militants all over.
People have taken up to firearms, which is a fact,
Yes.
and we have seen them, which is pretty dangerous.
Surrounding
when
our
you
jeeps.
when you think of it, you think whether your helicopter is safe, you don't know. That's true.
They used to surround our jeeps around and tell
All the women and all. As a police officer, this is something which sometimes surprises me. Of course, when we used to be stopped by the police, they would naturally respond positively because I'm an ex-police officer and all. But you hardly move a little bit further. You used to be surrounded by the ladies, and they used to want to check.
I was told, correct me if I am wrong, that the ladies there, especially one sect, they are absolutely adamant. And
you see, if you go into their history, Manipuri women have always been in the forefront.
They say this is a matriarchal society.
Not exactly, but they have been in the forefront as far as these agitations. You see, since independence, there has been agitation after agitation.
Yes.
So the women folk have become very empowered over there. So naturally, if the police are all gents and everyone, no one is going to argue with them. They say, we want to check. What are you going to do?
And
So
they did
They
check.
did check.
Yes.
Even after they were checked your identity, who
Were-
you
were-
are and what.
Were you at peace?
Of course, fortunately, as I said, we went with one of the priests over there, so he was able to tell that I'm a priest and this and that and everything, and they were alive.
And I think the women were the worst sufferers. And along with that, I think children. What happens to the children who are there in this relief camp? You have Arthur with us, very well known environmentalist, and you take up a lot of crusades in Goa.
Actually, when we went there, the children were trying to find ways of getting themselves entertained. After all, they're children, they're innocent children. They don't know what's happening. But of course, they carry with them some kind of that trauma that existed during that time. But as children, they normally tend to forget. But still, we think that they are just wasting their time there. And they should be engaged in some, corrective measures. They should be engaged in something good for their development, for their future, because their future is at stake.
So nobody is engaging them in any activity.
No, at the moment, no. But then that is what Street Providence is trying to do now. We are trying to actually engage them in a proper manner, like maybe drawing, maybe some kind of basic mathematics or.
Are you
English.
thinking of sending some professionals like teachers
Yes.
who could be there maybe for 2 weeks or 3 weeks,
Yes.
and then you have got other batches?
I have been given the task by.
You have been a teacher, so you'll know better.
I have been given the task by Donald to see that you take care, you look after the education part of it. And we are trying our best to at least send money in the form of by being a benefactor to a child. Like for example, when we went there, we found out the basics and what could be the basic things that we could provide them. So your school uniform, your books, and your tuition fees and all of the school, which works out to about 2,500. And then the whole year's expenditures would be
But
about
all schools
40,000.
are closed now, or some of them are.
Some of them are open, especially in the Meithei region in Imphal. They are open, but here they are struggling.
But these children, if they were going to those schools, they would not be able to go.
They
there.
were not. They have actually left. They
Yes.
have just disappeared.
So it's over for them.
For them,
Well,
it is
you
over.
never know.
Yes.
You never
When
know when
they'll
peace
come
will
back.
return.
But what we are trying to do is we are trying to, wherever the schools have lost students, the strength. Some of the students which are living in the cookie-dominated areas and which are already operating, we are trying to bring them into, like there are some schools which are completely burnt,
Is it?
completely razed to the ground. There is nothing left in that. It's become
Plus
a
they
haunted
stole
place.
everything also.
It's
Everything
become a
was-
haunted place. So those students who have lost that school, trying to relocate them into another school. So for them, we require funds in the basics, like their tuition fees, their school uniform.
But it's a very big task.
It's
on
not
hand.
an easy task. It's
Yes.
not an easy task, and we have to also understand that there is a lot of language barrier also. There is a language barrier because when we were moving around with the priest, fortunately he was a Naga priest having knowledge of at least 7 dialects.
So the language is
the language, because it is there that they catch you. How you speak, which dialect you speak. So it is there that they catch you, unfortunately. So the priest knew those dialects. So he could immediately change over his dialect and interact with them. So therefore, these are the things that actually require a lot of attention, especially the children. Because their future is at stake. There are some children who have lost their. When we were interacting, we found a girl who had to just flee away from the university. just take whatever you want and run away from the
She must have lost everything.
everything, all her documents, all her certificates. So she started saying, like, if I want to go, if I want to even seek a job, I don't have even a graduation certificate with me. So how will I get it? So like these students have
There
just,
will be many cases like
yeah,
Yes.
many cases. So university students, they want to go back to education, because what we have learnt is that the cookies are somehow the very enthusiastic type of people. They want to learn something, and because they want to learn, they want to come out from that tribal attitude. They want to be something different. So the cookies, since they have that attitude, I think why snub them at this age? So it is possible to give them some kind of a route to find their proper destination, then I think we would be much willing to do that.
So the next mission for you is on education.
Yes.
Yeah, now we were
We've
trying.
actually made it doable in the sense of, I know there'll be so many hundreds of kids, but we've said 300. We've just, as of now, made it doable that we are going to sponsor 300 children. So we are going to put out this appeal, and each one can then interact with a child, know your child kind of thing. So you know that your money is going to the development and education of this particular child.
So you have a bigger project
Yes.
in mind.
Yes.
Street Providence, correct me if I am wrong, started in 2013, and Donald was cooking the food and giving for 50 poor families around his house at the locality. Then in 2015, he got an ambulance to ferry all the poor people to hospitals and other places, and even installed a water tap in his own house to provide good water. And 2017 started the food bank, which has, taken up all over Goa, I should say, and people have installed fridges and done so much. Then in 2017 also started collecting homeless people, some of them giving their shave, haircut, bath, warm food and medical treatment. And you have lots of trustees and volunteers. I think you are one of the best NGO in Goa. And now you have ventured to this journey to Manipur. How have you been able to do all this?
I think basically we have always a dream, and we never believe that a dream is impossible. Even, for example, our tagline of our Street Providence is to end hunger and homelessness. Now anyone would think, how can you end hunger? So, but it is like, we believe that there are good-hearted people, and all our volunteers, it would just not be possible without the volunteers volunteering to collect the food. See, because there are food, these fridges are placed in various police stations. People come and put the excess food there. That excess food has to be collected and reached, in many cases warmed up and heated up, and see that it is good to reach to the right people. So, one thing we've realized that, if people see your work and recognize that you're really doing it completely, without any things to gain, people's large-heartedness is really large. And
Because
I think we have been
now you have
successful.
sent the fourth track.
Yes, and
it
it's all
runs
donation.
into legs. It runs into legs.
Yes.
To do all that is almost nearly impossible, and to do it from the tiny state of Goa, it's marvelous.
Yeah, but that only shows how large-hearted the people of Goa are,
even when we met the governor, and we said we are a small, she said we are really this thing that is such a small state of India is supplying so much.
Yeah, it is.
It is quite, See, we put out an appeal and people responded. It is really, amazing. It's literally short of a miracle, actually. How people just started pouring in and, feeling empathy when you heard that so many churches are just, burnt and razed to the ground for no fault of theirs or whatever, just, for being different. So I think it struck a chord with people, and I think it started giving.
Would you agree that after they saw that film, the incident that took place on May 4th and was shown somewhere in July, I think that has opened the eyes of everybody.
The video that went viral.
The video that went viral about those two women.
Yes, and there are many more stories that will still come out, of bravery, there was a story which was told to us, in fact it's going to be published sometime later, about a particular nun who just held her ground. She said, I'm not leaving. There were 3 nuns in a particular convent which is to run a school. and the superior phoned them and said this place is dangerous, everybody is things are being burnt, leave. She said, no, I am not leaving. So she held her ground and she stood there. The other younger two nuns left, and then she told them, you know, you think this building is for me? Do you think that what you will gain by thing? If you want to burn my school, burn me along with the school.
Is it?
That held them back. You know, they got a bit taken aback because they didn't realize there would be someone so brave. And that's the only, if she burnt, it seems. Someone told us they'll have, except at school. They stole things, but they didn't.
It's almost a miracle. Yeah, it did happen. Normally, policemen are never associated with these big causes and humanitarian service. What we know, the police is on a different mold altogether. What made you to get into this?
No, the reason I got associated with Street Providence was, as a police officer, we had a problem of people on the street. You know, people will call, there's someone is on the street, what to do? And what is the police supposed to do? I mean, we have to, if you tell them that that's not my job, they'll say the police are arrogant, the police are, as it is, we get a backlash for everything. So there have been times that even if the houses, during the floods, they would just call, police, Udak Ballagara. What am I going to do? In fact, there was one joke, that was when I was a sub-inspector. One person came to the police station to complain regarding that water has got flooded in his house when he saw that the police station itself was flooded. He said, you know, see, so the thing was, coming to it is when I saw, we had this thing about picking up a problem, and the main, this thing was, I stay in Siridam, so my wife goes to school. So when she was going to school, she saw that one person was just placed opposite the church. And what to do? She started saying, you do something about it. You call, and I said, see, that's not a police job. I'm not going, don't ask me to do it because I don't want to get into these things. So, but you know, with ladies, it is, every time, did you do something? Did you call? So then after I said, okay, I was desperate, so I was trying to find out in WhatsApp group. Someone told me that Street Providence does that. So then I got in touch with Donald. And Donald, I think, was on the point of breaking that, you know, I'm going to stop this because I'm not getting cooperation from the police, not getting from this, that. So he said, sir, okay, I'll pick up, but you need to do me these things and all. Okay. I said, okay, come on. And then I got him introduced to the rest of the police. We had a crime meeting, so I called him and I said, this is how we will this thing. Then a circular was issued so that whenever police station sees someone, gives a call that there is someone lying, then they call up Donald. And then afterwards, the police also cooperate and shift him because that documentation needs to be done.
Yes.
Because if it is not done tomorrow, someone will say he has been kidnapped or something of that sort.
And they come from different states. We don't know their identity.
When I used to see that, I was very happy that I could do something. So before retirement, I did tell Donald, after retirement, if there is something you want me to do, I am available. So that's how I got it. So
you went to this place. What was your first impact?
Yeah, you see, it is, if you see, it's the helplessness of the administration. I mean, because it has been taken over by the, I won't say mobs, but by the insecure citizens of the state.
But
they are very insecure.
But is there insecurity with both the groups, or
with both the groups? They don't trust each other. It's become, you see, it is like the ethnic cleansing is from both sides. Today it has become, even police officers who were cookies have left the place and gone to where the majority cookies are there. The Metis who were in those areas have come back to the plains.
That means all our educational system, education has not helped us to be more human.
You know, I wouldn't say that, you know, but this is like a very old problem. But it used to erupt over a period. But now many things have come in. Because now, see, what has happened is, one group is declared a tribal, the other group refused to become tribal, but By declaring themselves tribal, they got more facilities. So, all these insecurities have increased between both, and they have become suspicious of each other. It's a very difficult
It's very
way
difficult.
to try and unclear
Understand.
all these things.
But until and unless peace prevails,
yes,
nothing will work.
nothing.
Yeah,
nothing.
that is true.
What do you think is the priority?
Well, the priority, of course, would be that the people feel, as you said, everyone is saying the hopelessness. So they have to feel secure that they if they come back, that they would be guaranteed that they would be protected, basically. Because let's assume, see, we have this second big project. We're trying to rebuild their homes.
Yeah.
Okay, so again, there's one person from our team also who will be looking at reconstruction. Now, we are thinking, what's the point of reconstruction if we get the cookies back? Is that home going to continue to stay? Are they going to feel comfortable and secure and safe to come back to that home? So, the priority is really to see that the administration really guarantees them peace, guarantees their safety, because again, building up schools, putting them up again, it's just not
Because now
going to
more
work.
than 3 months have elapsed now. And
Again today there was fresh
nothing
violence.
seems
Yeah.
to be improving.
See, and even if they go to Mizoram, like how most of them have done across the border, the Mizoram government has been quite good to say, okay, fine, we're opening our schools to you all. Now the kids are small, they can learn the Mizo language, but it's like an entire culture being decimated, and they're being forced to learn a new language because of the fact that they just had to flee there. It's a different culture, it's a different language, it's a different ethos. And
the other thing is, within now see, it is different communities. There is the Naga community in Manipur, there is the Methi community,
And
there
the
is the
Kuki.
Kuki community. Now, within the Nagas, they have their different dialects. So now when a child comes,
Yeah.
he first learns their dialect. Then after he has to learn the state language, which is Manipuri. Then he learns Hindi. And then after the schools which are run by the missionaries are mostly English schools which are there. Of course, they have
So
their
on an educational front, Arthur, I think it's the youngsters who will be at the receiving end.
yes,
Yeah, absolutely. It is the youngsters.
very lost.
In fact, I would like to add that how the parents also going to help these youngsters. That's going to be another issue. Manipur itself is a complicated issue. I fully agree. As far as your concern about is this going to remain or is it going to get escalated, we don't know. But today only I was hearing about an interview where the Maithis are willing to settle the score, but they say let the Kukis surrender their arms first, and then we will surrender their arms. So I think if they are talking in this language, that yes, there could be some hope. When you say that let them surrender their arms and we will surrender our arms, then I think that there is hope, provided you have an administration which is looking forward to a settlement, a peace.
The administration should be basically neutral and independent.
Yes.
Because if they are identified with X, then the trust will never be built around.
Correct. And as
You
far
are
as
right.
the education
it's
is
very important to build up trust from both communities.
As far as education is concerned, as you are saying, you are rightly saying, and what Sir is also saying is that it is not only the language, but it is so many other things that have to be learnt. I don't know whether they will be able to give up that culture, that tradition. Each tribe apparently has got a different kind of a dialect only, a different kind of a culture. When we were given some shawls, the shawls itself, they were 36 in number, 36
Yes.
And
tribes.
each one tells.
And
So-
they take a great pride
Yes.
in each one of them.
So how that is good, because I feel that they are too tight. The Manipuris are too tight to their tribes and they don't want to lose it. So how, like in Goa, you have the migrants coming in here, but they settle down here. They are okay here. But whether there it's going to happen, I don't know. So I think it is best to give them the education where they are at the moment.
Yeah. Now they have been given some houses, tin houses, but will they be getting their old place where they had their own
That
houses?
is the problem.
Because they have been burnt, churches have been destroyed, and what happens?
That is the problem. Now when we had gone to one place, there was a relief camp running in a higher secondary school. Now, if the administration thinks of starting that higher secondary school,
It's not possible.
they will have to relocate these people. So where will they go? So that is the question also that is bothering us. So are we also going to think of having relief homes, kind of pakka relief homes now, looking at the extent of the violence and whether it's really going to come to peaceful negotiations. So whether we are going to look at setting up tin structures as relief camps for them and have because see what happens is they cannot leave those camps. The moment they leave the camp, it's like a cage. It's like a lion in the cage. You know, it's like a chicken in a cage, and there are lions all around. So if you leave that camp, whether you're going to be safe beyond that camp. So they can't even move around outside those camps. So if these families, these children are going to be taken out from those higher secondary schools and placed somewhere else, where will they go?
So rehabilitation will be a tougher job.
Yes.
And till rehabilitation takes place, Caroline, I think Street Providence will have to keep on
Yes.
giving.
Now the
Are you ready for
another
that?
Another thing over there, you know, you have to
That's a big
also
challenge.
that, you know, many locals are like volunteers of Street Providence in Manipur.
Is it? How did you manage that?
Again, I mean, they came forward, like, because we had to coordinate with
Yeah.
someone, no? So the church people, they said, okay, this person, some Augustine, some Dominic,
Yeah.
then that lady. I mean, they voluntarily
Volunteer.
came. And they are like, without, there is no, this
Premeditation.
thing, just
will be-
humanity.
it will be a great help. for
Yeah,
them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
that's all.
They are
But,
the catechists, by the way.
Yeah.
Of that saying, they are the
Of that
catechists there,
catechists.
and they have volunteered.
The big challenge for us is also
It is.
really, as you said, providing professionals.
Yes.
And we really would appeal to people, you know, here. The camps require medical facilities. Now, we did send medical supplies to a very large, I think almost 10 lakhs worth of, generic medicines. The basic things for fevers and colds and syrups and things like this. However, they need professionals. So we need doctors, we need psychologists, we need cardiologists, we need gynecologists. And I know that there are people, even we don't expect them to be there for a long time. Could they give us 15 days of their time? Hardly they finish 15 days, maybe the next
Another
batch of
batch.
could
Yeah,
go.
yes, yes.
Because this is a crying need. This is a really crying need. When we have gone, in fact, the last one in Mizoram, two children were very sick. They had some kind of lumps on their head, and they were trying to take them to the nearest hospital. But in the camps, as it says, they are trapped there, and malnourishment is going to take over, because all they are getting food, but it's rice, dal, Nutella. They are adding that Nutella in the dal to bulk it up and things like this. There's no fresh vegetables. Like at least in Mizoram, we saw there is a lot of bamboo shoots in these
Yes.
days. So half the camps, the women were there and the men were there getting bamboo shoot, but how much of bamboo
Yeah.
shoot could you eat, So we did things, taking like small little sweets, we brought such smiles on their faces, because they haven't eaten a sweet in 3. Who thinks of giving sweets? They're looking at basics, But as Arthur said also, like, we need to give them some things like color pencils and crayons and, just a football to play, because they just, in that little space, everyone has been given like literally 5 feet, then there's just one curtain is put, and the next family and the next family and next family. Where is the privacy? Where is the hygiene?
Because for them to return safely to their home places will be a tough job.
It is.
Till then, you have a very long role to play. And I liked what Donald and along with Sister Fatima said. Only when society comes together and contributes will we be able to make an impact.
Yes.
That's why this thing is that this thing should not go off the radar. The minute it goes off the radar, people also
Tend
tend
to
to forget
forget.
about
Yes,
it.
yes.
So we are trying to keep the focus that your whatever you give is going in the right direction, and because we are trying to be as transparent as possible, so people also feel that where what they are giving is
reaching the
right
places,
people.
yeah.
Yes.
Others, you take the things and afterwards, so what is this thing? We have lost the people.
That's
So,
the
tend to
reason-
lose
so
it.
the biggest question mark today, when will this ethnic conflict end?
No.
Keeping our fingers crossed.
I go back to Africa. We had a Hutus and Tutsi.
Yeah.
That problem ended somehow or the other. How many people were killed? It's again a tribal
Yes,
problem.
yes.
So, do you think we lack visionaries to handle this problem?
No. I think if there is a drive, it's not such a big
Not
issue.
something that
to
you cannot get.
Yes.
It can be done. There is only the will to say yes. Someone has to come forward and say, okay, that's enough. Now let us step back and.
Yes, you cannot say that they could not have prevented the mob. It means that basically then administration has failed. The police are useless. And I don't think that's what they would like to say. You can't say that the mob just went and they stole the arms. There has to be some administration failure, and or they've been allowed to do that. And I think, and everybody is saying that if the administration is tough, as Mr. Bosco, being an ex-IPS officer, would know, if the police are tough and they've given a free hand, they can stop the mobs, they can stop the violence. But the question is, are they not getting the required backup?
It all ultimately depends on
It's
the
vote
political
bank.
rulers.
And vote
What
bank
we are
politics.
seeing today in Goa. It is a similar situation.
Yeah, vote bank politics.
So, if the top bosses tell you, close your eyes, then it becomes a
Obviously,
day-to-day matter. They close your eyes for everything and anything. What happens is, the day-to-day affair like
So
this.
did they need that viral video to know that rapes are taking place?
Yeah, it's very sad. This is
So
very sad.
obviously that means they don't have their nose on the ground, or they
Yes.
have it and they're blind.
So-
They're not wanting to look at it.
Now, they say that this thing will continue because maybe of so many factors that now we are going to have now. Do you think this will...
No, I think one thing is they see now that video made such an impact. Because of that, they have acted.
There is pressure.
Okay. So now there is pressure on people, even on lay people. Even I think on those women and all, there is pressure. Like we cannot take it go on. See, so there is pressure. Like Arthur was saying, let us come to some settle. And how long can you sustain the same
Yeah.
thing, same thing?
Because they are all losing out. no?
Everybody
Like
is losing out.
if
Matter of
the
fact-
cookies are controlling particular stretches of roads, so if they are blocking, that main road for the Meithis is getting blocked also. No? So
And in fact, father was telling her that those Meithis who schools and all, they are feeling,
why did we break now?
why did we break? Why did we put fire to those schools?
60%,
Because our children
I was studying,
are suffering.
60% in that one big school were Meithis, 40% only were cookies.
So both are sufferers. Some more,
So
some
there
less,
is
but
a-
suffering is there.
Yes.
Suffering is common
Yeah,
to both.
common
for everybody.
There is now a realization that they have to come to.
So
some-
for that you need a strong political leadership which looks in the manner that truth and justice should prevail.
Yeah.
There is
As a matter of fact, the latest scenario that or the feedback that we are getting is that the commandos, the police commandos, are now questioning the Assam rifles. Where have we gone? We are now questioning the army.
Yes.
The local police is now questioning the army and saying, show your Aadhaar card, otherwise we are not allowing you. Where on earth has this happened? And why it has happened? It is definitely because there is a failure of a system that brings order.
But when such a big suffering is taking place, isn't it a shame for us?
Absolutely. It is a shame.
And it's the people and the most vulnerable and the most innocent who got nothing, caught in the crossfire of a careless administration, of an administration that really is looking perhaps at vote banks, of continue to be in power. And these are all just the fallouts of it. When you see those children running aimlessly, they should have been in school, just had to be bundled in vans and taken over. It's just like and with no hope, basically. Don't know. You're asking a question. I wish we could answer it and say 1 month from today. But it doesn't look like that. Today there were fresh clashes,
So, from your side, since you are a trustee of the Street Providence, you are prepared for a long-term
yes, we are.
help,
yes.
humanitarian service.
Therefore, we've made certain like a long-term plan. A is schools. Is someone only looking at how many kids can we sponsor, 30,000 a month, these are the books, etc. So one will be doing only a drive for notebooks and fees and things like this. One group is only looking at homes and rebuilding of homes. But they are completely burnt and they don't even have a home.
That will need big chunk
Yes,
of money.
and another group is only looking at trying to see and appealing to professionals. Desperately need counselors, we desperately need psychologists.
Yes.
Because the psychological impacts are deep, and that's one thing that normal doctors won't be able. They have to sit with them and feel their pain and try to erase those memories.
I remember during a Bhuj earthquake, they invited people from America because nobody was conversant with psychological first aid.
Yes.
I think you'll need lot of psychologists.
This is something that we are appealing to
in
people.
fact, some of them did call me up and they said, we may not able to go there. Is it possible that we can do online? But the trouble is over there, the net is just
there was no internet even at the time when we went. It was very difficult. There was no WhatsApp. WhatsApp is shut down. Internet is shut down.
It's only when the internet was opened that video
that
became viral.
Yeah,
And unfortunately, a complaint was lodged in May itself, but the police did not take action.
So many FIRs are lodged. No? The police have not, only some 6 or 7 people have been arrested from the number of thousands of FIRs.
So your
lodged.
immediate need now is doctors, psychologists?
Yes. All professionals to work in the medical camps.
Whatever work we have been assigned, those are our immediate needs. Now we have narrowed it down and streamlined it like building of shelter homes, then looking after children, looking after education, and about medicines. All these things have now
and
been
baby foods,
put in
basically.
phase.
We have we made our appeal is to people. Okay, you sponsor like a case of say lactogen or Cerelac, fine, it's okay, we will take it, because you cannot or you can give the money for this thing. We may not able to carry it from here, but at least from Aizawl we can purchase it and send it.
I think rice is what is needed by them.
Normally rice is their staple food, but there is rice.
There is a channel where the vendors are there. So we have been paying the vendors, and the vendors.
Unfortunately, the price of rice has gone up now at the wrong time.
Yeah.
At the wrong time.
So Cerelac and baby foods is supplements is that what we are trying to focus on. We are asking people. Now we don't. I mean, not we don't want rice, but we are saying this is what is our priority. There are so many kids, that's why. So the weaning foods, which is Cerelac and baby milk powder, is something that we are wanting to take in bulk.
And I think in lactogen there is 1, 2, 3, 4, so that because a different group,
age groups
of children.
But I think the way that Goans have responded is
very
fantastic.
much. That's
I've never seen.
I think that even when we were in Imphal, the minute we came, people were calling up and saying, this is something really nice. And not only Goans from Goa, Goans from abroad also have been.
What way can we help?
Yes, that's quite nice.
That's what I say. I mean, the Goan heart is really large to come forward.
But what I really admire, the way that you have your centers all over Goa and how you account for each and every item. That is something to be admired.
No, that's the reason we decided to go personally also, no? Because people needed to know that really this is happening on ground, and they really needed to see that, and we wanted to see that really the stuff that we are sending is reaching to the right. So once they say people of his reputation,
I think at the right time you got your retirement.
Yes, I know, with an officer of his credibility going there,
and with such an important figure there. I'm sure God will bless you. No more condecorations for you.
No, we have passed all that.
But the biggest,
like I said, during my entire tenure, I enjoyed my service.
What I have noticed during these donations, that people, I think, have really thought of what is told to them. Let your not left hand know what your right hand gives. This is the first time I have seen it. And I think more and more people need to join Street Providence in their mission. Your mission is to provide essential food and medicines to those in need, including the homeless and also persons with disabilities. God will definitely shower His abundant blessings on all of you. Continue doing your good work that you are doing. God bless you. Thank you very much
Thank
for
you.
being with CCR TV.
Thank you for having us also.
Thank you for having me.